Hi, everyone. Welcome. Startled you there.
Got me again.
Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by a very startled GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Otherwise.
Excellent. The cocktail of the week this week is the Perry Cuomo Christmas.
It's good. It has Campari in it. I recognized an ingredient.
Yeah, good job.
Yay.
Gin, Campari, Cointreau.
I would have guessed gin. Yeah.
Orange juice, cranberry juice, and champagne.
I think I like it. It's a very... Campari has some kind of throwback effect for me. I think there used to be a time in Germany when Campari Orange was a drink that people would drink in bars. Just
Orange
Campari
juice and Campari?
Yeah.
Campari, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the flavor of Campari has some good associations.
And this definitely has both. I mean, the Cointreau is orange flavored and there's orange juice.
Mm-hmm.
Campari really adds some sophistication to a drink because it's kind of bitter, but in a good way, and it's sweet.
It's like an accessible bitter.
Yeah. Anyway, it's tasty.
Plus, it's Italian, so it's got to be kind of cool.
Totally. Yeah. Should we just jump into the dog updates?
You mean the dogs that are fighting in the background, but not fighting?
Remy and Guac are having some rope tugs, which is kind of their favorite thing now.
Yeah, nothing to see here, though. Everyone just move along.
Okay. Let us begin with voodoo. On Saturday, we went out to dinner, and I got home, and I was changing out of my dress for dinner into just my relaxing at home clothes. And I went into the bedroom, and I normally leave my clothes on the dresser. My skirt was on the floor, and that's weird because I'm generally not one to leave my clothes on the floor, period.
Yeah, why is that?
I mean... In general, I'm neater than
True.
that.
Yes, no, absolutely. But also...
But foods eats lots of things that are not foods. So I definitely don't leave my clothes on the floor.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe, I think I had paddleboarded before. So maybe I was maybe I just was in a rush, strip the clothes off, put the swimsuit on, go out there, do that, and accidentally left it on the floor. So I pull the skirt on.
The visual was excellent.
Because it looked fine when I picked it up. And then I looked down and it's missing a whole chunk.
It's like putting on a t-shirt and having the back missing or something. It was hilariously graphic. A big square was just missing.
Totally missing.
Not from the bottom or the top, the middle.
Yeah, all the way waistband to hem.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Now it was ripped up. And there were parts you could put back together, but there was not enough parts for the entirety of the skirt. So this was Saturday.
Parts are missing. Mm-hmm.
So of course it was Vodes.
Of course it was Vodes.
And so we've been waiting for the forensic evidence to emerge. And again, we avoid the scatological on this podcast, but we've been checking the output of Vodes for the skirt. And finally today it emerged. Or was it last night?
Both.
I guess. Yeah. So GR Dad this morning, he's like, here's the evidence that I found in the poop. And there's the pieces of the skirt, which I was very worried about because it was embroidered on the bottom. But then there's also this stripy stuff with yellow. And I was like, the skirt was white with blue embroidery. That's definitely not that. And I was like, oh, you know what that is? That was my underpants, which were probably sitting, I probably just took all my clothes off, put them on the dresser.
Oh God.
Changed into my going out clothes. And so my underwear was with the skirt. And I didn't notice that it was missing because he ate the entirety of my underpants.
Oh my goodness.
In addition to the pieces of the skirt.
Foods, man. Foods. It's not your buffet. It's a dresser.
Yeah, so I left it on the dresser and he clearly pulled it down, which is a thing he's been doing. If stuff is left next to the edge of tables, beds, stuff, he's grabbing it, pulling it down.
Kind of grazes. As you say, he's got no ups.
No.
But if he can stick his head up there, he'll just nah.
For sure. Speaking of
grazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2 nights ago, I took Hops out for a paddleboard. And it was a really tired day. So I took her out for the paddleboard and I wasn't exerting myself, but I was kind of just drained at the end of it. And so often I'll take Hops and Guac because they both love to go on the paddleboard. But I did this longish one. It was a little windy with Hops. And I got back and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I don't want to exhaust myself.
You did a token.
Well, yeah. So I came back up. I changed out of my swimsuit. I put my clothes back on. And then Guac was looking at me with his big eyes. And I was like, because he knows, they both know when I put on my bikini that it's time for the paddleboard. So even though I had changed back into my clothes, I was like, all right, Guac, I can't deny it. Like, we'll do like you said, a token paddleboard. We'll just go get on the paddleboard. We'll go down a couple of houses, turn around and come back just so you had a little ride.
I mean, he's got those eyes. He definitely has those eyes.
He knows how to use them too.
Oh, boy.
He sits and he looks up at you with the big eyes.
They're so big.
You can see the white parts around it. Anyway, so that's it. So we go out, we get the paddleboard. He jumps right on. We go down a couple of houses. We come back up. And I walk in the front door, and in the middle of the room, Remy has a bag of powdered sugar. It has been ripped open. There's powdered sugar in a pile on the floor.
His nose is in it.
He's licking, lick, with like, oh crap, I'm going to get caught. The powdered sugar was like not at the edge of the counter. It was like pushed way back on the counter because I know dogs counter surf. He clearly had climbed up there, grabbed the bag of powdered sugar, brought it open, ripped the top part off, was eating the powdered sugar. So I was trying to get him out of it. He's like, no, like, give it to me.
Such a bad association after like 80s and 90s movies. I mean,
white all over his face.
He's got white all over his face. He's got the crazed eyes.
He did. So I had to like lock him in the room where he eats so I could like clean up the powdered sugar, right? Pick up the bag, vacuum up the powdered sugar. I'll just add here as a side note that like I vacuumed up the powdered sugar, dumped it out of like the canister on the vacuum, and like rinsed out part of the vacuum canister, dusted it off so there wouldn't be powdered sugar residue on there. But like when GR Dad got back and saw what I had done, he took the canister off and like gave it a proper washing because apparently mine was not sufficient.
That's how you get ants, Jen.
It's fine. This is things like when the dogs come in, I dry them off, and then if I do it, GR Dad's like, I'm going to dry them off again to get them drier. So now I don't even do it, and it's great. I don't have to dry them at all because you like it your way, and I'm fine with that.
I think it's fine. I mean, this is like the dishwasher loading thing that other couples have. It's just like, one person does it the way they want it, and the other person's like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. We definitely load the dishwasher differently, but you know what? If you're doing the dishes, I don't care.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, I'm not saying my method is superior, but it is different. We do different things. Yours might be more efficient.
I am nothing if not efficient.
Mm-hmm. You are efficient.
So anyway, I clean up the powdered sugar after Remy, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to have to work with him, right? Catch him going up on the counter. Because he had, earlier in the day, he had pulled a toy off a table. Like he suddenly discovered, oh, I can get up on surfaces.
Third dimension.
Yeah. And so I made us dinner and I'm watching him, right? So I can catch him. And I mean, literally, like, I looked away for 10 seconds and I look back in the house and he's trotting out of the kitchen with the second bag of powdered sugar in his mouth, right back to the spot where he was eating the first bag. Like, sure, I should have taken the powdered sugar off the counter. But the point was that I wanted to catch him doing it. And he got up there without me noticing, grabbed it, and he's like, tick, 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 trotting over to his spot. So then I was like, well, now I have to catch him so I can like yell at him when he tries to take something off the counter. So we had got this Stollen from Zingerman's Bakery. God, that stuff is good.
It's addictive.
So I unwrapped the Stollen and I put the loaf, like it's this sweet, buttery loaf of bread with like little fruit bits in it. I put it like right on the edge of the table, and so Remy's like sticks his nose up there.
He was smelling.
Yeah, and he like starts sticking his tongue out, and I like yell at him real loud, which of course upsets all the other dogs. And then yesterday I caught him, I heard him in the kitchen and I ran in there and he had like his whole torso up on the counter, like tippy toes stretching up there looking for the powdered sugar, the same place he found the powdered sugar.
For some reason he's got like really long arms. I don't know if he's just like more flexible in his front arms, but they look like bear arms or something. They can reach further into the
he
the
likes to
nooks and
stick them
crannies.
way out to the side too. Yeah.
He's got a whole different challenge than like, guac or something.
Yeah. Anyway, once I entrapped him, and then once I just caught him, and he definitely knows that he shouldn't do the thing he did, because I left the Stollen that time I caught him and yelled at him. I left it on the edge of the counter, and you'd see him like looking back at it, and then he'd be like, "Oh no, I can't." So
he's learning.
It's going to be easy to train this out of him, but it is going to be a little bit of a process.
Guac learned too. He was oblivious to it at first, and then would counter surf, and I think we caught him or did the electrics thing.
We had the little zapper mat.
But either way, it's definitely sunk in. He will go right up to the edge and indicate that he knows there's something right there, but not grab it, which is really good.
The zapper mat also helped because he'd jump onto the bookcase and look out the window all the time.
That was the harder thing because we were usually outside when he did that.
Yeah, so the zapper mat was great. 2 times was all it took. Getting zapped twice.
He knows he shouldn't have been up there. Every time we came in, he'd jump down and look all
down,
guilty.
Yeah, but he'd still get up there when we were out.
Oh, yeah.
And then once he got zapped when we weren't in the house, he was like, oh, okay. I'm not doing that anymore.
Then he'd jump on the bed because he could look out that way.
Fine.
That was okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah. So anyway, that was Remy's big adventure. And of course, the diabetic dog is the one eating sugar out of the bag.
I got to say, I was much more freaked out than you were. I was just like, what happens when a diabetic eats, I don't know, a quarter pound of sugar? It can't be good.
And I was like, he's fine. And go.
Turns out low sugar is much worse than high blood sugar.
And his sugar didn't get that high.
No, the insulin really managed it. Yeah.
So he was fine. He was a little amped up that night, but he was fine.
He was. But that could have just been because he got away with something.
I know.
Twice.
For sure. In other dog eating stuff news, the more positive, you talk about the Vink egg.
Oh, yeah.
This is Vink egg part 2.
That's right. Last week, the hard-boiled egg had rolled down that I was going to give to Voods and Remy. And Vink ate it, peel and all. Mm-hmm. Before I even noticed. I only noticed in hindsight. And this time what was I doing? I was taking the egg carton down and it had a raw egg in it. And for some reason it jumped out. I swear it jumped out of the end of the egg carton.
I think that happened in Ghostbusters. And the eggs jumped out onto the counter.
I think that's what it was. But then they boil on the counter in Ghostbusters. Did not happen here.
Oh, that's good.
And fell down. And so I was like, Vink, get in here. You get another egg.
And she was like...
It was the easiest cleanup I've ever had in the kitchen. I really appreciate having a Vink around sometimes. I mean, it really was good.
Yeah. So that was good. And that's pretty much the complexity of the dog stories this week. Guac has been good. Hops has been good. CB has been good. CB got his stitches out. Was that since this last Saturday?
That was since the podcast.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to wear his little hat anymore, his snood.
Yeah, his ear is supposed to be as strong as before, which wasn't that strong, but it's that's all the goal is.
Yeah. So everybody else is doing good.
He's good, and he's not itching his head anymore, or maybe he just didn't like his hat, or it really was itching because it was healing. It seems like it's the hard part's over. Yeah. I
did write down just on my list of stuff to talk about a GR Dad quote, which is, "They're absolutely gulls, but they probably don't smell good." Do you remember saying this? We were talking about pelicans. Pelicans. Oh. They're absolutely gulls. Says Inga, but they probably don't smell good.
I like pelicans. They're really cool. And they do fly well, and they swim well, and they do a lot of things well. But they're probably nasty birds. It's an insult in Australia to call someone a pelican.
Yeah, I'm going to start using that. You pelican.
You pelican.
In super followers / Patreon news, this week's GR Dad Explains His World episode was GR Dad showing everybody how to make hard-boiled eggs. Which I gotta say, a lot of people were like, oh, some people were like, well, I'm very committed to my method and this is different.
Yeah,
but I gotta give it to you that those eggs look really good at the end.
I lead by saying, and I admit there are many different methods that I'm sure work well. There's heat it up with the water, there's cool it down with the water, there's like my method, boil and then put them in there. So in Germany you have egg boiling machines.
You can get those here.
Yeah, they steam the eggs.
Yeah, they have those here.
We had those for our soft boiled eggs for breakfast, which I had all my life.
Your mom is real committed to eggs at breakfast.
Boiled eggs.
I don't like soft boiled eggs.
Soft, squishy boiled.
I think we've probably told the story, but it's worth quickly repeating that when I was there one time, do your parents listen to the podcast? Now they're watching the videos. Did they listen?
Doubtful.
That I always feel awful and jet lagged and nauseous for a few days when I go to Europe. And she was like, how do you want your eggs in the morning for breakfast? How do you want your eggs? And I was like, I do not want eggs. I don't want anything. Please don't make me eat anything. And
that was not the question.
Made me eat eggs anyway.
She gave you scrambled eggs because she thought that was like less eggs.
I think she had tricked me at some point to being like, well, when you do eat eggs, what's your favorite way to have eggs? And I was like, I like them
you're
scrambled.
In the interrogation chamber.
It's and then she's like, here's scrambled eggs for you.
When did you stop eating your eggs? I never stopped. It's a trick question.
They're coming. Ingo's parents are coming for 3 weeks in the middle of January. So I'm sure we'll have stories. They're not staying with us.
Again, I hope they don't listen to this podcast. But I'm pretty sure they don't listen to podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, I got nothing bad to say about them coming. I'm glad they're not staying with us. Nobody can really stay with us because we have 6 dogs. My mom, who has stayed with us before, she's like, if I came to the Keys, I wouldn't stay at your house. I'd like to sleep.
Yeah, and we're just finding out we're probably going to be having work done at the house. At least one project, probably 2 will be going on at that time. So
yeah.
it'll be all fun and games anyway.
Oh, it's going to be a mess. We have spalling, which is basically water damage to our concrete, which we knew when we bought the house, and it's finally time to do something. So they have to take off our front steps.
As you said, it's like that apartment building in South Miami that collapsed. That had spalling.
That's what it was. That kind of, I mean, theirs was obviously much more severe, and ours isn't to the supports of the house. It's on the stairs and the front and back porch. It's nowhere near that serious, but we don't want it to get that serious. So yeah, they have to take off our front steps, which are solid cast concrete, and replace those. And they have to take off and replace part of the front porch and the back porch. It's going to be like a 3-week taking off concrete. They have to take off all the railings. They have to take off the screens, like treat the rebar rust and recast oh my God, it's going to be so disruptive.
They're saying 3 weeks. Oof. That seems like a lot in 3 weeks.
Oh my God. And of course that's totally going to be when they finally start putting the seawall in. It's going to be
absolutely, and probably with our luck, they'll be like, "Oh, we're also going to fix your bathroom at the same time. You're not using that for anything." We'll be like, "That was the only space in the house that we could still hide in with our dogs."
I don't know if I told you this, but we have a friend from a couple blocks over who has a golden, and they come over and the golden swims sometimes. So I was telling her about all this. She's like, "If you need to come, like, we won't be at our house. So if you want to come stay at our house," she's like, "There's fur in it anyway. It would be fine."
They have a nice house.
They do. Their house is way nicer than our house.
That would be a step up. That would be great.
Oh God, no kidding.
We could be hardship cases and just walk around the neighborhood with our dogs going, please, can we have some more?
Oh God, they have like a fire pit under their house and
they have a nice
outside bar. Their house is way nicer than ours.
It's great for entertaining. Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're just going to stay there for 3 weeks. I don't think they're going to be gone that long.
They will if we're there.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, so that's the dog update. So everybody's doing pretty good. We're recording on Wednesday, so we still have a couple days before we announce the low maintenance dog of the week. Though I gotta say, I think Vink is in real contention this week. And we talked about Brody, who's not being bad, but Vink is lower maintenance than Brody.
Brody has his anxiety every night,
where he needs a second dinner,
at least a second dinner, and wants a third.
Yeah,
and yeah, Vink's only problem has been that she barks a lot, but she's been pretty good recently about the waking up sort of and just starting to bark randomly and getting everyone to bark with her.
For sure.
Yeah, good job, Vink.
The Golden Ratio Wiki has a list of all 3 award winners from every week back to when we started doing this. I mean, it's only been 4 weeks. So we've only had Guac and Hops as low maintenance dog of the week winners in the table.
Just back and forth.
Guac Hops.
Yeah.
Not that any of them have been high maintenance, though. Hops is going up to Maryland to get injections in her elbow, which is pretty freaking high maintenance, 20-hour drive.
Yeah, that's high maintenance. But she's also had some like soreness and stuff. We've been putting her on a little bit more pain drugs. Yep. No fault
Jared,
of her
you got to
own.
move that mic closer to your mouth.
Yeah, I keep having to remind myself that low maintenance dog is not what is it? It's like intention free, or it's not a blame thing. It's just, is the dog requiring more attention? So Hops, even though it's not her fault that she's hurting more, is taking more attention. So she's not low maintenance in that way. So it's not it's not saying that they're a bad dog. It's just that they require more attention this week.
Exactly.
It's very complicated.
So tomorrow, Thursday, December 16th, a banner day in the history of humanity, Dad is taking Voods and Hops up to Maryland to go to the orthopedic vet. They're going to go on Monday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hops is going to get we hope, we're taking her up to get PRP, platelet-rich plasma in her elbow, which is the same thing I had injected into my butt. Someday my butt won't hurt, but today is not that day.
Not the same plasma.
No, it's not my plasma, but it's the same process. But I'm starting to think my butt will always hurt.
Maybe you should get some of Hopper's plasma. It might be more magic.
Oh, can you imagine? I could totally break it, and then I wouldn't be able to do anything. Anyway.
No, it'd be magic.
So hopefully that's going to happen with Hops. She has to have an evaluation on Monday, and then if they do it, they put them under anesthesia, which they sure as heck don't do for humans. So I've had PRP injections both in my hamstring, and then I had it in my rotator cuffs, and oh dear Lord,
oh my God,
it hurts so bad.
The description,
and the shoulders.
Brace yourself for the description because it's bad. If you have sensitivity about this stuff, it's terrible.
I mean, they draw your blood, they spin out the plasma, they put it in a bunch of big syringes, and then they shoot those syringes into your joint.
But it's not real liquid.
Oh no, it's real viscous.
Viscous.
And it takes up a bunch of space where there's no space.
And they're poking around.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
This
just
sounds
like
terrible.
The pressure in the joints.
Terrible.
Like full. Well, I have a very high pain tolerance. Obviously, if I can run as far as I do, pain full on 10 out of 10 for about 20 minutes after those shots. Oh, it hurts so bad.
Oh, it just sounds awful.
I called when I had the second round in my shoulders, which hurt more, I think. I called Ingo from the car as I was leaving the physical therapist, and I was like, I just need you to talk to me while I deal with how bad this hurts.
Oh, it just sounds overwhelmingly painful. Oh, and you can't run away from it, and you can't
do anything.
Yeah, walk it off. It's just, it sounds terrible.
They said a lot of times when men get it, they cry. The women don't.
We have unresolved issues, so, we cry sometimes.
That's fine.
From our bottled up emotions.
I think it's okay. Anyway, so, quite kindly, they put the dogs under anesthesia to give them the shots. The pain fades very quickly, half an hour maybe. So they put them under so they don't have to be awake for that discomfort. Plus, they'd probably jerk around or something, right? I can stand still, but they use like an ultrasound to position the needle. They image your joint on the ultrasound, and then they hold the ultrasound there as they stick the needle in, so they get the needle in exactly the right place before they shoot the stuff in. So you can't have a dog moving around, right? I can hold myself still even if it hurts, but she can't. So it would be a separate day. Hopefully Tuesday they would do it. It would be just our luck that they'd be like, well, next Monday.
Yeah, what, the 25th or some bogus date like that. I already love those guys. Love them.
This is the one where I was crying in frustration trying to get an appointment 6 weeks ago. So anyway, Hops is going up for that, and then Voods is going up to get reevaluated because, as you all know from watching the snaps, he's got no coordination in his back legs, and he still limps a lot, and he doesn't really use the one they did the surgery on, which he totally should be doing.
Yeah.
We did test that joint to see if there was an infection, and there was not. So we don't really know what's up with it. When I had him in June to get evaluated, they said it was not neurological, like from the seizure meds, though we do notice he's less coordinated when he's on the higher doses. So anyway, they're just going to check him out and see if there's, anything to do or what's going on there. I suspect it kind of is what it is, but it would be good. He's going to get a really thorough workup. And they've got like a gym in this place, like a dog gym with like a big long 20-foot mat. And you walk the dogs along the mat, and it measures how much weight they put on each of their feet. So you can see like, oh, they're not bearing as much weight on this foot, and you don't even have to pay attention to like, can I tell if they're limping? Because it's hard to kind of, if you watch a dog, to see like, oh, they're favoring one leg. So they get all kinds of data. It's really good. So anyway, Dear Dad is going to be up there for whatever, 5-6 days.
5 long days. It'll be without you.
I know. We're kind of flipping it around. I was up there for a week without you, and now you're going to be up there. And I got to say, it's a better end of the deal staying here in Tropical Paradise instead of going up there.
See, the weather doesn't bother me up there. It just,
Yeah, I'm very impacted by the weather. So
it's good. You should stay here.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, if we have to be apart, I prefer to be here.
Yes, I would not like to be. I would like to be not apart, but I need to get these dogs to the place.
Yeah, that's going to be good. And you like the road trip.
I do. Yeah. And I mean, the good thing is I probably wouldn't be able to fit another dog in the car. So it's good that I'm going to be full of dogs.
Guaco Man is like, I can sit like a proper gentleman in the front seat and go.
Yes, he would wear a seatbelt, I'm sure. I meant for, any loosely attended / abandoned dogs. If I find a dog by the highway.
I was out paddleboarding today with Guac, and my paddleboards have become increasingly social, which is not my intent. But I like stopped and had 2 conversations today on the paddleboard.
You are sort of a slow-moving target. You can't get away fast enough if someone wants to engage you.
Yeah. So there's a couple, 2 women who have bought a house, I think, down here, and they're spending like kind of 6 months here and 6 months up in the Poconos or something. So they've got summers up there and winters down here, and they have a 13-year-old golden who, oh my God, he's like so fuzzy and he's got a big white face, and I just want to steal him. I want to take him home. He's so nice. So he was out there, but I was kind of chatting with them, and I have no idea why I started telling this story. What were we talking about?
Me picking up dogs on the way back.
Oh yeah,
stealing dogs. Saving dogs. Saving dogs.
So I was telling them about kind of, because she's like, oh, do you have 2 Goldens? And I was like, lady, we have 6 Goldens. And she's like, 2? Oh my God, how'd you get that many? And so I was telling them about what we did, and they were like, oh, we have a vet like up in the Berkshires, and they have 2 Goldens that they're trying to find a home for because like the owner just died. And I was so close to being like, give them to me.
So far away. That's like upstate New York.
Can you imagine having 8 dogs?
Maybe
we could trade them. We'll give you 2.
We would have to do military style, roll call. We may have to shave numbers in their backs or something where we would lose track of 8. No. That's the problem. If we had a very rigorous system, we could handle it.
It's too much. If they were going to die, if it were like, you can take them or else they will die, like, of course, right? But that's not the situation. There are absolutely rescue groups up there, the golden retriever rescue groups that will take those dogs and find them a home.
The Berkshires, they're going to have richer people than us, like clamoring to take these dogs.
Yes, there will be a lovely family who takes both of them, and they're going to have a great life.
Yeah, on their like estate. Jeez.
But I was like, oh man. I'll take them.
Good thing you didn't see any pictures.
Oh, I'm so glad.
We'd have 8 dogs now.
I know. We this week we interviewed 2 new dog sitters to like stay overnight here in the Keys, because we had a really good one who I think I'd mentioned. She's a marine biologist. She still is a marine biologist, but she moved up to the mainland, and so it's been fine because like she moved in the middle of the summer, and it's right when we got Remy, and he's like everything's a little too complicated now to just hand off to a dog sitter. But our emergency vet is reopening at the beginning of January. So like if Voods has a seizure, there's no like, oh crap, maybe the dog sitter is just going to have to wait it out or drive him up to Miami. It can be like, if Voods has a seizure, give him these medicines and drive him the 10 minutes to the emergency vet and drop him off, and we'll like let them know.
Yeah, do the handoff, right?
Yeah, just basically, hospitalize him, keep track of him, and, we authorize whatever it is. So it's going to be much easier. But so anyway, we were interviewing 2 of them, and they're both great. And so we've got a trip booked with one of them, which is like a little weekend. We're going to not be with the dogs. And the other one, we've got on deck. But one of them works at the SPCA down here. And I was like, we could have an inn. If there's any Goldens in the Keys, they can just be like, oh, hey, we don't need to put them in the... Just call Jen.
Why are you thinking into that way?
Because I love them, Ingo. I need to save them all.
You're like, they're Pringles. They're not Pringles. They're dogs. And, well, can't eat just one, but still. You can't have more. 6 is, I find myself counting dogs a lot lately.
Honestly, like the current configuration is a little bit too much. Mm-hmm. It's getting better.
That's why I'm counting them.
It's too much. That's not just in terms of volume, but in terms of need.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Because as I've said before, the Hopper, Venkman, Maggie, Jasmine, Riley, Queso 6-dog configuration was not too much. It was quite easy and manageable. This configuration of 6 it's a little more than we can comfortably handle.
With Crackhead over there snorting powdered confectioner's sugar at every stage here. White nose Remy.
Oh my God.
White Snoop Remy.
I mean, when we had those 6 dogs, like you and I were still splitting our time, right? Like you were spending a lot of time with your daughter. I mean, not a ton, right? But right. You definitely weren't at the house all the time. Mm-hmm. And I had no problem taking care of all 6 of them. I didn't feel like it was overwhelming. It was like, yeah, whatever. We give them all dinner. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And here, like I'm acutely aware when I was gone, like, man, Like you're taking care of all six. Not that you're not capable, but it's a lot of work.
You know, Boots has a seizure and everything has to revolve around Boots for a while. It's and then everything else is still going on, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we say it lightly, but they all have special needs.
Yeah, they sure do. They're a special bunch.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, no, I'm not volunteering to take any more. If the rescue group says take some more, I'm going to be like, screw you guys. I told you to put Remy someplace else.
I love how you always hedge this kind of stuff with like, well, if nobody else would take them,
I'm sorry. So Ingo,
I'd drive up to the Berkshire.
Someone says to you, sends you a picture of these two dogs, which I haven't seen.
Oh, don't.
And they're
no.
They're in a kill shelter and they're going to get put down on Friday unless you're willing to take them.
Of course.
It's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Of course. No, of course. I'm just hoping that's not going to happen.
No, me too.
But yes, you can't say no to that.
I think I maybe mentioned this once before that I was like, many years ago, had read some article about like people and kids having kids, and that there was some woman that the author had talked to, and she said, if more show up, they're welcome to stay, but we're not out looking for them.
Kids?
Yeah. I think they had like 5 kids. And she was basically like, look, if another one comes along, okay, but we're really not, like, that's not the plan.
We're not out looking
We're not
for
going to turn them away, but that's sort of how I feel.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense when applied to the dogs than the kids, but there you go.
Yeah. All right. Hang on a second here. We're going to move out of dog news. Okay, so the one kind of piece of administrative business.
Yeah, you should have started with this. That's always administrative time, Jen.
Sorry, I know.
I'm so kidding. You're apologizing to me or the fans? It's ridiculous. I will not do that anymore.
So, we were approached by an app called Wisdom, which is spelled exactly like the word. And it's kind of like Clubhouse, which you may have heard of. It's like kind of like you do live radio shows on the platform. So like we're on there now and we have an account and you can like go live and like you can talk to people on it, kind of like a call-in show. Like we can have a conversation. So it's kind of like a live podcast, but then other people can participate in it. And so they asked us to try it out and like do a thing on there. So we're going to do that. We're going to put a link to the app in the show notes, and there's a little bit of a bug that we've run into in terms of being able to find our profile on it. So they're going to work that bug out. So we're planning to do a kind of live podcast, which with hopefully like you could talk to us and ask questions kind of abilities on the platform. It's going to be 3 p.m. on December 26th. So that's the Sunday, the day after Christmas. It's a Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time in the U.S. So that's like noon Pacific time in the U.S. and 5 or 6 in Europe. 8 or 9 p.m. in Europe, depending on where you are.
No, noon is 6.
And we're going to do it at 3 p.m. our time.
3 p.m. is 9, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're in England, which is 5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So we're definitely going to like put this on all the platforms, like, you know, closer to the day, and we'll have a link and everything, but there's going to be like a first link in the show notes for today so if you want to like get the app and get it all set up so you kind of have it ahead of time, it's free, like it doesn't cost you anything to do it. So we're just going to kind of try it out and see how it goes. And if everybody loves it, like that's great. Like we can do kind of live podcast stuff on occasion, but they asked us like, hey, like you've got this podcast, you want to try this thing out? And we're like, sure. So mark on your calendars, 3 p.m. Eastern time, December 26th. We're going to try this thing. And like I said, we'll post on all of the socials, more links and info as we get closer to it. So there you go. That's admin corner. Oh, important other admin corner. I have met the goal to take all of Mark Zuckerberg's money by making the reels. So 3 weeks ago on the podcast, I announced that Instagram had kind of given me a challenge to get 1.09 million views on reels.
Which makes no sense, but there you go.
Clearly algorithmically generated between November 21st and December 20th. That was the window that I had to get the 1.09 million views. But on my running account. So I've just been posting like some of the TikTok videos, some like old videos of like the previous squad members, you know, a few things from here, just like, you know, little bits, like 2 or 3 a day. And we hit the goal last week. So
we get money.
So Instagram is giving $1,000 to us for meeting the goal, which is great because I've been tabulating all of our expenses for our financial advisor, because I slacked off on doing it over the course of the years. I've been like putting all this stuff in the spreadsheet, and oh dear Lord, the vet bill is just from the last week. I mean, Voodoo spent 5 days in the neurology hospital.
Yeah. Turns out dog hospitals are expensive, just like human hospitals.
I think that was a $5,000 vet bill.
Well, he was well cared for.
Oh, I mean, 100% worth it, and we can afford it. Like they
loved him.
Even like all the dogs have pet insurance, but Voodoo's epilepsy is not covered by the insurance.
It's a pre-existing condition.
Yep. And no Obamacare / Affordable Care Act protections for dogs on pre-existing conditions.
We're just lucky to have pet insurance, frankly. That's just a good move. I mean, I know Matt does this too, but it's a good idea to get pet insurance.
I will add on that. So we've used Nationwide as it was under a different name before, but basically Nationwide's the company, and we have all the dogs under that. But when we got Remy, I was like, I need to get him signed up, even though he's the rescue group is paying his medical bills now, and that covers it. I was like, I want to get him signed up, so when when he gets transferred to us, we've got him covered. And Nationwide wouldn't take him because he's diabetic, but Trupanion did. So I think they don't cover his diabetes related expenses, but they still covered him, and they will cover dogs with any pre-existing conditions where he was just diabetes. I think for most of the other ones just rules you out. So I mean,
go Trupanion.
Yeah, I haven't submitted any claims with them yet because we're not paying for Remy's bills, but we've got them on there. But I thought that was pretty awesome, and their customer service has been great. Though I have to say, like Nationwide, who we have all the other dogs with, like, occasionally, like, I'll bicker with them about paying a bill, but generally, it's been good and easy, and, I think they've been reasonable about stuff. So, in any case, yeah, so we have pet insurance for them, which is so important. Hopper's, I was just looking at all of Hopper's bills together for the amputation. And
he had like surgery beforehand, right? Or like a procedure on the other leg, then Hopper, the amputation. And,
I was going through. So Hopper's bill when we were in Maryland and she was at the emergency vet. I mean, she was hospitalized in the intensive care unit at that emergency vet for I think 3 days for the other leg where she had that infection. That vet bill was like $8,500. It was so expensive, and I mean they paid us like $7,700.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I was just I didn't remember because it was like there was so much going on, but yeah, they paid almost all of that bill, which is great. But anyway, the Vood's hospitalization for his seizures is not covered by the pet insurance. So getting $1,000 from Instagram,
Mark Zuckerberg,
yeah, it won't pay the whole bill, and it's fine. We have plenty of money to pay it, but it's nice to be like that chunk came in. I think it was like literally the same day I would like put that bill in our system, and I was like, oh man, like, it was good to be taking his money. All right, so that's the end of admin corner. Okay. Do you want to do German word of the week, or you want me to do taste of the keys?
Taste of the keys.
Taste of the keys this week is that we have a gator.
No kidding. Not a small gator.
12-foot gator.
Confirmed gator.
Yes. It's like it showed up on Nextdoor, like, a little bit down the street, whatever, half a mile away. And they're like, oh my God, look at this gator. It's 12-foot gator in the canal. But it was like kind of a ways away. And then our friend 2 streets over, she's like, the gator's here. She's like, is it you think it's the same gator as the other one? But like for 3 days, she's like, well, I'm not letting my dog go swim in the canal because like you can see the gator out there like hiding in the mangroves on the other side. So I actually got on my paddleboard and went over to try to spot the gator.
Did you have a dog on the paddleboard?
Yes, Hops came with.
Just saying.
I wouldn't have let her go chase the gator.
Good. No, she's smart.
I didn't see it though. So apparently the gator has, I don't know. It's not where it was.
That's worrisome. The gator would take a lunge at one of the dogs. Like, I'm not as worried about the sharks or the dolphins or the other critters we have here, but a gator that's that big, Vink might be a morsel.
Our neighbor said, I'm adding in here. Some stupid person said to her, gators really have a taste for dog meat.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Like, why would you say that to somebody? What a stupid thing to say to somebody.
It's also not, it's like, no, that's not true. That can't be true.
That's
or
a person who just
verifiable.
likes to make shit up and say things because they think it's amusing. Ingo.
I know.
Anyway, I didn't spot the gator. But, we didn't talk about this. The dolphins.
Yes.
We were having breakfast. The dogs were having breakfast, and Ingo looked outside, and he's like, "Ooh, there's something big out there in the water." And we're both looking, and then we see a little dolphin pop up, and I was like, "Let's go!"
I think you literally jumped off the porch down to the. You were so fast down there.
Oh my God, the opportunity to like hang out in the water with dolphins, like people go on vacation and pay money to do that.
And then I actually managed to put Hopper in my kayak and go out and join you. You were on the paddleboard, and I grabbed Hopper and put her in the kayak.
I was like, Ingo, come on, let's go. Yeah. And I like run out there, and I'm like way away, and finally Ingo comes paddling out.
You've already established a relationship with the dolphin, and I'm like, hey guys, where is a party?
You probably like changed clothes, found some flip-flops, picked up Hops.
I really had to go to the bathroom. And then I was like, oh, Hops, you probably have to really go to the bathroom too, because I always imagine that the dogs are exactly like me. And so I was like, Hops, you have to go out. And then I was like, Hops, why don't you just jump in the kayak with me? Fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, it was not efficient, but I am so glad that we caught the dolphin as well as you did.
You did you got plenty of interaction time with the dolphins. They're all really curious about the paddleboard and the kayak and kind of swim up. And I mean, I posted some snaps, right, where the dolphin kind of swims under the nose of the kayak. You didn't even see it. And I'm like watching this dolphin like do a little spin as it goes past you.
Dolphin's like on its back looking up at the kayak. I was like, is that a hopper you got there? Nice, interesting.
You had a much harder time spotting it than me. You kept going like, I think it's over there. I'm like, literally, dude, it's that hump of water moving around you're 90 degrees away.
6 feet above me, right? I'm at water level looking out. You're looking up down from standing up.
I mean, literally, like the fin was sticking out some of the time.
I had Hops in front of me. I was worried about Hops.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, you got some good interaction time with the dolphin.
Dolphins are big enough to be slightly worrisome. They're very good at what they do, and I don't want a pissed off dolphin around me. They obviously they're known for being gentle, friendly, curious, and all those things, but there's got to be a dolphin that has like a bad day one day. Be like, you tourists, I'm gonna show you that I'm the king of the ocean and not you and your stupid plastic kayak, and like, I don't know, batter me or something.
We were watching a really bad shark movie.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Oh, I know. I mean, some of them are like the sci-fi ones are kind of funny.
Yes, if they're self-aware, then they are funny. If they try to be serious, they'd better be Steven Spielberg quality, or else they just are. Bah.
This one was trying to be serious, and it sucked. It's one where it's like the girls are, there's a shark, and the girls are kind of standing on, this like rocky outcropping, and they're like, we're out in the middle of the ocean and we don't know where we are and we don't know where to go. Like, it's just water. And like, literally there's a fucking island like 100 yards behind them in the shot where they're like, there's no land anywhere.
There's like vacation homes behind them.
Oh,
I mean, it's just such a bad production.
It's so bad. Anyway, there was a scene in there where there's a pod of dolphins that come like literally beat up the shark. They're like flinging themselves at the shark and headbutting the shark.
They all but put little like boxing gloves on the dolphins.
It would have been better if they had done that.
Punch.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Anyway, so I have this. I mean, the dolphins are super cool, but they are big marine mammals.
Yeah, they are big.
Not small, and they're so good at being in the water, right? It's so easy for them.
Yeah.
So effortless. It's cool, but they could kick my butt.
Yeah, they could. But it was pretty awesome. I mean, that's the second time.
Totally.
The first time I went out with the dolphins, you didn't come.
That's right. I was supposed to be doing like remote control. I was telling you where the dolphin was.
You did a good job. I mean, I always want you to come.
Yeah.
But you're definitely not as enthusiastic about getting out and interacting with the wildlife as I am. So I'm glad you got to come for that one.
Yeah, because it's scary.
So it's a big wildlife week.
Yeah, the dolphin was more just cool.
All right, so what's our German word of the week?
Well, you suggested Tannenbaum oder Weihnachtsbaum because it's a Christmas thing. But
it's a Christmas tree.
But I think everyone knows Weihnachtsbaum, don't they?
No, O Tannenbaum is like, we kind of know for the Oh Christmas Tree song.
Tannenbaum just means pine tree.
But like when we sing Oh Christmas Tree,
Sure.
we kind of are aware it's O Tannenbaum in German.
Yep.
Weihnachtsbaum is not used in the U.S.
Okay, Weihnachtsbaum is Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Yep, and it is a Tanne. Mm-hmm.
Evergreen.
Yep. Although it can be kind of stickly compared to the ones here. It could be
more Charlie Brownie.
Can be more of a fir. Not like the Douglas firs they have here. It could be more Charlie Brownie, but which is better for candles, as we've said.
If you'd like to hear GR Mom's outrage over putting candles on a Christmas tree and GR Dad's defense of it, you can go back to last year's Christmas adjacent podcasts where I rant about this. You can also probably find it on Twitter, where many Europeans chime in with their photos of their houses about to burn down because they have lit actual candles on their Christmas trees.
Or you can go 2 years back or maybe 3 years back. I think we have this. It's a perennial evergreen. Ooh, the word for evergreen is Dauerbrenner in German, by the way.
Oh.
That was going to be my alternate word of the week.
Dauerbrenner.
Dauerbrenner, which means long time burner. Burns for a long time.
Interesting.
Which can also be like an evergreen joke or an evergreen song,
evergreen tweet.
Movie. Yeah, just like always consistently popular. Evergreen tweet. Yeah, you'd say it. Dauerbrenner tweet.
Interesting. Well, this year we got a Christmas tree. I like Christmas just fine. I find if you're in dark northern climes, Christmas is a lovely way to distract yourself from how miserable it is to be living in the winter. And so it's like, okay, let's bring a tree in the house and like light shit up and decorate so it feels festive, even though everything sucks right now. And so since we started coming down to the Keys for Christmas, which like we first did in 2017, I have had very little appetite for traditional Christmas stuff. Like presents, yes. I'll make some cookies and stuff, but like I don't want to put like pine trees in my house. There's no pine. I mean, we have a pine tree in our yard, but this is not a pine tree place.
We don't have a fire. I mean, we don't even have a heater,
no,
let alone a fireplace.
I don't want to hang up a stocking. We don't wear socks. Like,
yeah.
And so
we don't wear socks. That's a good point.
So last year we bought like a Home Depot outdoor palm tree with lights on it, which was like fine. It was like a little cheesy, but it was fine to have out there. And I've been like trying to be like, what is a kind of tropical Christmas tree thing that I could have like in the house, like a tree you'd put presents under or whatever. And I spent a lot of time on Pinterest, and there's like people who live in whatever, like Cape Cod, right? And they do a kind of coastal Christmas tree, so they decorate it in like blue and white and turquoise with like shells and stuff. But like I don't want to take a friggin' alpine tree and bring it and corrupt my tropical paradise. Now I have always grown up with like, we would go cut our trees down, right? Live trees, fresh trees. I've never had an artificial tree, and strongly resisted it, but I was like, I can find nothing. And so I was like tooling around on Amazon to just see like, is there a thing I want to put up? And I found this amazing Christmas tree. So it's 5 feet tall. It's about 8 inches wide.
It's very conical.
It's made entirely out of turquoise tinsel.
Not comical, conical. Like a cone. It's very skinny.
When I was a kid, when we would go pick out our Christmas tree on the Christmas tree farm, my dad would always, I think jokingly, maybe seriously, point to these really skinny trees, and we called them scuds.
Scuds, like
after Scud missiles, because I think it was like around Gulf War time.
Oh, yes,
right.
Course.
I mean, I was a little kid, but
that's a good sense of humor.
All
like
the talk of the Scud missiles. So we're like, oh, it's that tree's a real Scud, which is actually the first thing I thought when I saw this tree on Amazon. I looked at it, I was like, ooh, that tree's a real Scud. But it's amazing. So it's just tinsel. And doesn't really look like a pine tree, but it's a cone, turquoise tinsel, and like these little round turquoise things. And I bought like these like Firefly fairy lights, the ones with the like really skinny wire and the tiny lights, and they're LEDs, and they change color, so you can set them to be any color. But we have them like fading into rainbow, all colors, one color to the next.
They turn red, which is so cool.
And it's not like flashy or blinky, right? It's just like a really smooth Roy G. Biv transition.
Yep.
And then I bought a box of starfish ornaments and hung them on there. So it's like a really perfect it first matches everything in the house because it's turquoise like everything in the house.
Yeah.
It's tropical, it's coastal, it's like kind of funky Key West. I'm so happy with it.
It's been 3 days and no dog has eaten it. So
I sprayed
yay.
it down with like a super toxic anti-chew stuff, not the bitter apple, like the stuff that you can't really breathe after you spray it. Because Voods looked real interested in that tree. So
he was looking at it for about 5 minutes, just standing there looking at it.
Yeah, it's protected now. So I'm really pleased with it.
Those starfish ornaments look like they belong on it. It looks great.
The lights too, right? You would think it maybe came with those lights, but
yes, I did.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I bought the lights separate.
Nice.
And it's like a 33-foot string, and I was really worried that it wasn't going to be enough, and it's like exactly the right amount of lights.
Because it's such a skinny tree.
It's so small. Yeah, it's real skinny. I mean, it's 5 feet tall, but it's very skinny.
No, it's good.
But it literally like collapses into a box that's smaller than a pizza box. It's like 3 posts, and then the whole cone just collapses down into like a little ring.
There are umbrellas that are bigger than this tree.
Oh, this tree would not. You couldn't use it as an umbrella.
No, I'm just
No, it's
saying.
tiny.
You know, it's just small.
I mean, yeah, it's maybe 12 inches across at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's real small. It's perfect. It fits in the little nook. We don't have to move anything.
Yep.
I am in love with it. It's great.
Yeah, it's like an homage or a nod to the concept of Christmas without trying to be northern and pretend there's snow or something.
Yeah. It's like yesterday we were in Key West for dinner. We were walking around while we waited for our table, and we found a house that's decorated in like pink LEDs with some pink icicles, and then they have 2 winged unicorns
Yes.
in their trees. Big,
That's good.
kind of life-size winged unicorns. I guess Pegases don't have horns though. The winged
I think
unicorns.
it was a unicorn.
It definitely was a unicorn. It had a horn,
Unicorns
but regular
fly?
unicorns don't have wings. Well, maybe they fucking do. I don't know.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's true. They can. Anyway, they had 2 of those silver unicorns and then pink lights, moving lights, flashing lights, icicles. It's a nod.
It was its own thing, yeah. But it wasn't like
It's amazing.
trying to be a Austrian village.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
I mean, there's a few of those. Too.
I don't know
That's
how
fine.
Australians do it, but I think when I lived there was still a lot of sort of British imported Christmas, right?
Mhm.
So you still had some of the traditions, but it's really hot.
One of my friends in South Africa said that. She's like, yeah, like Christmas, like we do all of the kind of northern stuff, but like you're in the pool and it's like 90 degrees and like you don't want turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and like all this heavy stuff.
I mean, it's kind of like LA has that Christmas problem too. I think they buy into it more, but it's doesn't fit seasonally.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I feel like this really balances like my emotions and the place that we're in and rejecting the cold of the north.
Yes.
I'm happy with it.
We don't need the cold. We just need the love. We just need the love.
So hopefully you'll be home by Christmas. But whatever. If we do Christmas late, it's fine.
Dude.
What?
If they're not ready to take hops or boods by Christmas, I'm coming home for Christmas. I'll go back up.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
If they're not ready to do it, then they're going to be like, well, we'll have to schedule and it will be another
February.
6. It'll be February.
I know. Then it's worth coming back here.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I think that's it for this week. Wish GR Dad safe travels up to Maryland. And until next week, don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
Yeah, don't bite anyone.
Bye.
Bye.